Okay, so now that we've got the listing for the new vehicle, all we need to do now is add the gallery. So we've got our images and we've got everything else set up. We just need to insert the gallery into the page that we've just made. So if you select the GMedia gallery once you've logged into the WordPress control panel, it will bring up this. This will look slightly different because by the time that you see it, there might be files in here, but the process is the same. Firstly, we need to create an album that we're going to link to our gallery. So the gallery gets images from an album which then make the process work. So the first thing we need to do is make the album and insert the images into it. So if we create a new album called 2007-56 Dennis, this really can be called anything, it's just a placeholder for where the image is relevant to the listing are going to be kept. So it makes sense to call it something that's going to make sense later down the line should you need to look at anything again. The description you can also add something into, but it's not going to be used and isn't critical, so you don't have to if you don't want to. But let's add the album. I'm just going to remove this album here. It shouldn't be here, so you won't see that, but that's fine. So we've got the album that we've just made by going to Albums, Create Album, giving it a name and clicking Add New Album. Next thing we need to do is add the files that are going to go into that album. So if we click Add/Import Files, we get this interface here. So the first thing we need to do is select the album we want to insert these pictures into. This is the only listing because this is the only album we've got, 2007-56 Dennis. So that's the album selected. We just need to tell it what files we want to upload and then start the upload process. So I'm going to select the folder with the files in it that's just outside this window, and I will just show you the process I've gone through to rename these files. So here are the images. This first one we've used for the main listing of the vehicle, and the others I've renamed. Now you can upload these and then rename them later, but it's a longer process and it takes a bit more time to do. So what I'd recommend is once you've got the images you want in a folder, rename the files individually. I've just called these Elite 1, Elite 2, Elite 3, Elite 4 because I don't know what the captions need to be, but obviously you'll have a better idea of that and you can just rename these as you want. You can have anything in them, but renaming the files before you upload them makes the process a whole lot quicker. So we'll lose that. If we go back to our interface here, we've selected the album we want to insert the images into. This time it's only one album, but obviously the more albums you have, the more they'll be listed here, but you can just select them as and when you go. So we'll select Add Files, browse to the folder with the files in, and we'll select all the ones we want to upload. So we've got 4 here. We've already got the first one, but we can include that. So let's select all 5, click Open, and this will then show you the images that you're about to upload. So we've got all 5 here, and we can rearrange these in any order we want before we upload them. And then all we need to do is click Start Upload. Now what this is going to do, it's going to take a little bit of time because the images are so large. Now ideally we'd optimize these and make them a slightly smaller file size and maybe downsize the images just so they're a bit quicker to A, upload, and B, to load when you get onto the website. The larger the image file, the longer it's going to take for the reader to download the images depending on how quick their internet is. So these are just uploaded now. We've got a progress bar up here on the top right that shows you how well it's going through the process, and down here as well it will just show you percentage. Once it completes, it will get all the way to the end and reset back to the start, and it should say complete somewhere in here. So we've gone to Albums, created the album, which is listed here, and then gone to Add/Import Files to import these images. Now we can go back through this process as many times as we want, adding new images to this album or any other album. You can do this at any other time and come back, and they'll automatically go back into the albums that we've already set up. So 100%, 11.6 megabytes. The process is now complete. So if we go back to albums now just to confirm this, we can now see that the album that previously didn't have any images here now has images here. We're ready to create the gallery. So if we select Create/Manage Galleries, we don't have any galleries at the moment. So we go Create Gallery, and then we select this third one down here. This is the design that we've gone for at the moment, but obviously there's different options that you can pick at any time. So let's select this one. Now we need to name the gallery. Now this is just simply because you can't have more than one gallery with the same name. So again, it makes sense to call it something that's relevant to the gallery that we're making. So we'll call it that. none of these other options we need to change. All we need to change is choose albums, and we need to pick the album we want to use the images from. So we've made the album, we've inserted the images into it, and then we've told the gallery that we're making that we want to use the images from 2007 56 Dennis, because that's the album we've made with the images that we want in them. That's basically it. There's one thing that we do need to change, which is the colour options. By default, these colours are set to green, and we need to change them so they match better with the website. If I quickly jump onto the website, and we'll find the colour that we want. So So the colour code that you need to place in here, I mean, you can use the colour picker and match a colour if you think that that might be best, or you can use the colour that's part of the website, which is this code here. So wherever there's green, we're just going to replace that by pasting in the new code here. So now that we have done that, we are good to go. If we click save now, the gallery will save, and we can click back to create manage galleries, and we've already got our gallery listed here. 2007 56 Dennis, author is the username, and we can delete, edit this at any time, so we can come back and do that at a later date. The key aspect of this gallery listing is this code here, the short code. All we need to do now is copy this code and paste it into the page that we want to have the gallery appear in. So if I take this and copy it, and then we go to pages and select 56 Dennis. This is the listing we've made previously, so we'll have the paragraph of text, the link that we've put in, and the reference number. So if we go to the end of the more link, press enter, and right click, paste, and we'll just tidy that up. We've now got the listing we had before, the button being called in, and then we've got the gallery inserted above the reference number. So we'll click update, because we need to click update every time we do anything that we want to save, and we'll go back to the home page. The home page shouldn't reflect any changes at all, because any changes that we have done to this listing have been underneath that more link. So let's click more information, and there's the gallery. This is the reference. This is what I'm referencing to when I said about changing the file names. Here it can display a caption, which you can go back through the control panel and change at a later date, but it is quite a long-winded process. Whereas here, because you've already named the files as the captions, it's already going to pull that information out for you and make the process a little bit easier. The gallery itself is set to progress. If you look in down here in the bottom right corner, the time will only progress whilst you're not hovering over the gallery itself. And if you don't hover the mouse over it, it'll just get to a point and then switch to the next image. But obviously you can select these images as you so wish, and then move the mouse off of the gallery and have it progress through the timeline in the time that's set. You can the time that it takes to process through these images is customizable within the settings, and you can play around with the settings and see which works best for you. And that's it.